Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials. So we've got a little bit of fan mail.
Ooh, we got fan mail?
We got fan mail.
We got fans?
Which, by the way, if you go to buzzsprout.com, you can send us your own fan mail.
Please do.
This comes from Elmira, New York. Just wanted to say hi. I love your podcast. It's a part of my morning ritual with my hot cup of tea. I've been recently on a path of my own spiritual awakening, and for someone who used to identify as a Christian, how would you work to overcome the overwhelming fear of going to hell for all eternity?
You know, that is a deep-rooted...
It really is a deep-rooted question.
Because, again, if you're raised Christian, you know, like we were, you were taught this from day one.
Well, I think this is something that a lot of pagans deal with, because a lot of us, most of the ones that I've come across, we've all come from some type of Christian background.
Right.
Catholic, Baptist,
that
Methodist,
doesn't matter.
whatever.
But again, this was drilled into your head as a kid.
Right.
You do bad thing, you go to hell.
Right.
You know, and I'm sorry, I cannot believe in a God that would do that. You know, hey, I'm going to give you one chance to get this right, and I already know you're going to get it wrong, so I've created you just to go to hell.
Right.
It's basically the stunt I get off of it. Now, I understand that's the argument, but we're talking about that feeling.
Yeah,
We're talking about that.
It is a fear. It is a real fear that, because I'm all of a sudden following this path that's not Christianity, God's going to punish me.
Yes.
You know, I went through kind of that when I converted to the pagan path, and well, I don't even know if I really converted. It just sort of happened with me. But
But
I kind of went through that.
Actually, I think it's a little bit easier if it just happens.
I think it is too.
All right, because again, I never really had that problem.
Right.
All right, to be quite honest with you, because, well, you know, I didn't necessarily believe in Christianity as a kid.
Right.
There was just too many things that didn't.
See, I did, even though I recognized a lot of those inconsistencies and a lot of discrepancies, and
I couldn't do it.
I still believed in it.
I mean, because you still have they still won't answer the question, where did the other religions come from?
Right. How did the dinosaurs fit into this?
Where does all this other stuff that actually happens?
Right.
You know, and even then, I hate to be this way, it wasn't like Christians created society or even the Jewish community.
Right.
Most of them were created by pagans.
Mm-hmm.
Babylon was pagan. Rome was pagan. So.
But again, back to the question, I mean, it's just something that I think the longer you're on the path, and depending on your studies.
Yeah.
And depending on how well you.
Once you start working out where in the world you're getting your guilt from,
mm-hmm.
and how to stop it, those fears start to go away.
Right. I was going to say it depends on your meditations.
Right.
Because for us, meditation is probably one of the best ways to deal with that stuff.
Right. It is a great personal therapy session.
It really is.
It really is. So,
again, just make sure you've got a good support.
Right.
But yeah, that's a great way to work through it. Because like you said, you got to get to the root of the problem.
Right. Because again, at the end of it, sin is nothing but guilt.
Right.
You feel guilty for doing something.
Right.
Now, what you got to ask yourself is, why do you feel guilty about doing that action? Once you solve that problem, things seem to work themselves out a whole lot easier.
Well, and you have to also realize guilt was created to maintain order.
Order, yes.
And to keep people in line.
It is the stick.
Right.
Versus the carrot.
So once you realize that, then I think that also makes it easier to work through and to get past this fear that, oh God, I'm going to go to hell.
Well, rationally, we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with our rational mind, way we're talking right now, in the whole 9 yards, it's a little bit different when you are sitting there in the middle of the night, you know, can't sleep, tossing and turning, and you have all these random thoughts in your head.
Right. You're alone with your thoughts. And your mind's just racing.
Those fears will come back up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, because again, there's still a part of you. This was told to you since you were a kid, so it's hard not to.
Well, and I think it also depends on how long you were part of that religion.
It is, to me, this is the same thing as when we refer to people as he and she, automatically.
Okay.
We're basing it on patterns of behavior and certain visual cues to let us know which one to use at the time. All right? Now, I'm not trying to bring this in there, but hence the reason misgendering happens all the freaking time.
Right.
Because it's not something conscious we necessarily always do.
Right.
It's something like blinking. We can control it sometimes we can. This is the same thing with feeling this, I'm going to go to hell. Are you with me?
I am, yeah.
Yeah.
The point is it's been so ingrained. I think the longer you were a Christian, the harder it is to get past that.
Yes.
If you left the church when you were in your early teens, it might not be such a big deal to get past that. If you left in your 20s or your 30s, then you're definitely going to have an issue.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where people that are in their 40s and 50s will have a whole lot more problems versus, because we've seen that anyway. When teaching people, trying to get them to break some of them
I was
habits.
going to say, we see it all the time when people come to us for classes.
Right.
So, but yeah, I think those are all things that aid or contribute to the difficulty level.
Right. So, I mean, we're trying to take some, other things into account here on how hard it's going to be to.
Absolutely. It's not going to be, okay, can I just focus on this one thought and get to the root of it? No,
there's multiple thoughts attached to it. I mean, I don't know how to explain this. This whole fear of going to hell, it's laced in your behavior, your thoughts, and, and especially in Christianity, because they say you can go to hell just for thinking about an act just as much as doing an act. That one sin is just as bad as the other.
Yeah, one sin is just as bad as the other is.
And that makes no sense to me. So just because I think about having premarital sex with someone, you're already a sinner.
Right.
You're already going to hell. Don't do that. I mean, at some point or another, somebody's always you're going to turn around at some point and go, nice car. Technically, you just covered your neighbor's property. So when you're sitting there and you're meditating, you start to see those things. When you're starting to see, I mean, just like what we talk about with the Wicca, the threefold law, how when you actually start to sit there and think about it, how absurd it is to try to live that way because you can never unhurt anyone.
Right.
What I saw in the Christian community and all that is, no matter what in the world you do, we're all going to hell because we all sin.
Well, and that's part of the core teaching of Christianity is that we are all sinners.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all sinners. You're going to die in sin, so it means you're going to go to hell.
That's something that I never truly understood. You've been saved,
supposedly,
but we're still sinners.
You're still sinners.
So that's and I'm sure some Christian will hear this and go, oh, no, I'll explain this, blah, blah, blah. Please do.
I mean, because that don't make no sense to me.
I was a big part of the church growing up and into my late teens, early 20s. I understand where that comes from, but it makes no sense to me.
I have an easier time with the concept of somebody going to hell and being punished than someone going to heaven.
Really?
The Christian heaven I was explained to did not seem like anything I wanted to do. Not for all eternity. I do not want to be in church 24/7 for the rest of eternity.
And that's pretty much what it is.
That's literally what I was told for Christianity is heaven is nowhere where you go and you just worship God all day.
Right.
All time, nothing, you don't stop.
Yeah.
What's the... I hate to be this way.
Well, for some people, that's the dream. That's the idea. That's the goal.
I don't get it. That just does not seem like you're not doing anything. You're just worshiping and praying.
Right.
It seems like the afterlife would have a little bit more to it than just, hey, you're going to die and go to church for all the day. There's your reward.
Right. No, I get where you're coming from.
They don't have a problem with that, but people worry about going to hell.
Well, again, you're made to fear it to keep you in line.
I know it's the whole dogma
And yeah,
of the
and
religion
heaven is the ultimate reward
for that.
for following orders, if you will.
Right.
So, when it comes down to it, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, anyway, and I think in yours, that
Yeah.
heaven and hell are just they're constructs.
Again, the whole heaven and hell thing, it is a construct to me, and they're not real. They're just tools that religions use to control the population.
Right.
Because, again, we have to control our population. If not,
sure we do, yeah.
I mean, you have to stop crime. You can't just let people go around just raping the people
No, you can't.
So you have to do some of this to some extent, and I understand that.
And ultimately, it's not. I say it's not a bad way to do it. I mean, it works.
Well, it brought us to where we are today.
Yes.
The system worked well enough to get us to this point.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense? So I'm not faulting the system that they were using, because, again, it wasn't just the Christians. A lot of religions do this.
Right.
Because you got the whole karma thing, and
yeah, karma.
And it's used basically about the same way that they do.
It is, yeah.
So how bad was your fear once you started to convert? Because you've never, I mean,
yeah,
we've been married for 30-something years now,
yeah,
all right?
And it's not anything.
All right, it's not something we've ever talked about.
No, we haven't. For me, it was, and for the longest time, I held on. I claimed that I held on to a lot of my Christian beliefs.
Yeah.
Even starting on this path, and
well, even to this day, you still claim you still hold on to a lot of Christian beliefs.
Not like I used to.
All right.
They're pretty much gone out the window. There's I don't know. I guess there's some aspects that maybe I incorporate, but it's not a lot. But for me, the idea of hell, I had to come to terms with what it was. And it was quite a journey to get to the point to realize, okay, hell's a construct.
Yeah.
Hell and guilt were all things, and the fear were all things done to keep me in some semblance of the union, if you will.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge, but for me, it wasn't a big challenge.
Right.
Because my pagan path just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a real struggle with that. I had already been out of the church for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And so I was already kind of weeding out
bits and pieces here
bits and pieces because it no longer suited me.
Right.
So I think that made it easier for me. But I know I have met some people who they've really struggled with it. And the best advice that I can give them is, meditate.
Well, see, now here I'm gonna stick a crawl in all of this. All
Sure.
right, all right, because I personally believe when we die, we experience whatever we think we should get.
Right.
We're sort of judging ourselves.
I think we're kind of programmed that way.
Or do you make sense when we talk about that judgment of life? I think we sort of judge ourselves. And when we die, if we honestly believe we were bad people and we're going to hell, that's literally what's going to happen.
Right.
You're literally going to see that, and God forbid you come back. That's the story you're going to tell of how in the world you were possibly about to be tortured on a chair and thrown into a lake of fire, because that's what you actually believe was going to happen.
Right.
Same thing about going to heaven. If you actually believe you're going to, and at some time later, those fallacies fall away.
Right.
And you start to realize this is not what I thought it was.
Yeah, I believe that too. It took me a while to get to that point.
Yeah.
But it fits. It makes sense.
Well, I mean, when you because when you start listening to the stories of life after death, and you hear the stories and you start seeing what people believe, and they start to see what they think they should get.
Well, and it's funny because some of those actually come from non-Christians. And when they come back, they say they saw this angel or they saw Jesus or
this some being.
Right. And then from that on, they've converted to Christianity.
Indeed. But to me, you were sort of creating
Right. That's exactly where I was going with that.
sort of a delusion.
Right. Because let's face it, when we die, we don't want to believe something bad's going to happen to us. We want something nice. We want something peaceful.
Yes.
You know, we
want and most of all, we want something.
Right. We want something.
I'm not going to sit here and say, I don't occasionally have the fear. What if we're all wrong and I die and nothing happens?
And nothing happens.
I'm just dead.
Yeah, there's nothing after this. Well, I mean, it's possible.
It is possible. I mean, I will admit that.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility. But then on the other hand, yeah, it's a possibility. The Christians are right, and when I die, I will go to hell. But I still have a problem with that thought.
Well, see, here's the thing. Hell, even in the Bible, hell is described as an absence from God.
Yes, that's all it's described.
It's never been described as a lake of fire.
Or torture.
Or a place of torture and torment.
The lake of fire, the only time I actually think it's ever mentioned, and not even referred as hell, but that they opened up the earth and threw the beast into the lake of fire.
Yes.
And that's the only time it's ever mentioned.
Which was probably a volcano. In my opinion.
I mean,
point is that hell is a construct.
Right.
So hell is nothing more than a separation from God. So if you die and there's nothing,
you're separated from God.
Then you're separated from God. That's hell.
Right. Hell's not a place of torture. It's just a place of absence.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there really anything to be afraid of?
Well, the thought, I could see how this would scare early man when you're like trapped in a cave, or you've had those experiences where you're in a dark place all by yourself for long periods of time and you kind of go a little woohoo.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine an eternity of that.
True.
I could see where some people would see that in and of itself as a torture.
Okay. And then translate that into what hell would be.
What hell would be. And hence the reason why I always thought of it as more of an absence of everything.
Right.
If it does exist or whatever.
You're just floating in the abyss.
Right. I mean,
and there's nothing there.
Well, actually, I'm not even going to say that. You could probably, I think even maybe you might even have another soul sitting right beside of you you'd never know. You're just completely cut off and only have to deal with yourself and your own thoughts.
Kind of like a straitjacket for your
whole body. Or for your soul.
For your soul, yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's literally just
it's a deprivation tank for your soul.
Yeah, perfect. That's it. Deprivation tank. Excellent. Yeah.
So again, but some of us enjoy that. So,
well, I enjoy it. I don't know if I enjoy it for
eternity.
Right.
This is the only way I know to get rid of those feelings is to sit there and to meditate on them
and logically analyze.
Logically analyze them and go through your memories and stuff like that. Start where the things that bring that thought up, start working on why does that bring that up?
Right. And sit down and talk it over with other people. I mean, that's just like we're doing here. I mean, that's one of the best ways to come to new conclusions and to new thoughts.
Sometimes I don't think people actually realize, yes, we do sit around all day and talk about this crap.
Yeah, we do.
We literally do.
We do.
We talk about other stuff, though. I mean,
yeah, but no, we do. We sit down and we talk about this stuff. So
go figure. All right, you about ready for some coffee?
I believe I am. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning.